Hello, welcome to another video on why comic books are so addictive. And a lot of it had to do with the drama that we had in the community in the past few days. As I have mentioned before in other videos, because comic books are so addictive, um, most of us are very passionate about the hobby. And we can easily be riled up when we are so passionate about something and somebody says something that we disagree with. But before I continue further, I want to go into a little segue a little bit on this concept that I had years ago. Back in the early 90s, there was a very famous book that a lot of people talk about and read and mention. The book is called Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. For those my age, I'm sure you have heard of that. Well, at least I hope you had. It's a good book, I guess, that talk about the differences between men and women and how we can learn from each other to improve in the relationships, stuff like that. I read part of it. Okay, I'd be the first to admit that I did not read all of it. I dated a girl once that loved that book, and she got me to read some of the book. And we discussed a lot of other books, so I have a somewhat of an understanding of the book. But a few years later, I had an idea because I heard so much about that book and understanding now about what that book is about. I had an idea to write like a parody of that book. I'm not much of a writer, but I was trying to pitch a concept to a writer friend about this concept and trying to work with him on trying to put together a parody of that book. Basically, tentatively, the name of the book would have been Men Are Not From Mars, Women Are Not From Venus. We are all from freaking cave. And the premise of the book is it points out all the flaws in all of us that have been around for hundreds of years, that has not advanced through the evolution. As much as we like to think that we are better today than ever, more open-minded, more advanced, we are still struck with jealousy, envy, and a good dose of hypocrisy. All of us are guilty of many of those three things a lot of time. Even the best of us are guilty of that some of the time. And those three things cause a lot of problem, anywhere. Be way beyond the comic community or YouTube. It happened anywhere and everywhere. Jealousy and envy, gosh, that go back to the birth of man. To have and to have not. It is something that's one of the worst human flaws that we cannot get away from. And then on top of that, you throw in intolerance and hypocrisy. Oh my goodness, those four things alone has created problem for humankind. Okay, I'm not going to say mankind because it's human. It struck both men, women, children. We learn as children not to be jealous, not to be selfish, not to be. Most of us can talk all we want about that, but we are all guilty of many of those things. Okay, um, and sadly, we see that on a daily basis. You know, it's almost impossible for me to go through a day without seeing at least one or two, if not all of those behavior exhibit in real life on TV or on YouTube. That's just the way it is, and you know, and the premise of the book is not to say that we have not advanced. Is that there are certain flaws in human that we cannot. Nobody has come up with a magic pill to do away with, and if we could, it would make the world a much better place. Because at the end of the day, I don't think any of us like the version of us that exhibit these behavior. If we exhibit any one of these behaviors, tape ourselves, and then rewatch what we did or said, I think most of us will cringe like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I said that." Because that's human. We are, and the internet, the way social media is, it's almost feed on those flaws because the knee-jerk reaction, the quick reaction, the quick to snap back are so available. The form of communication that we have now is so not induced for good behaviors. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Twitter, Facebook, this everything, all the form of social media we have today are not filtered. Too often my advice to many people has always been take a deep breath, pause, step away from the computer keyboard before you have a vomit on the keyboard and go crazy typing away on a rant or something like that, because it's human. Whenever we get into an interaction, like a fight with anyone, argument, it's easy to go into that, right? But with the internet, the way the computer is, it create a whole different human behaviors that often can be regretful. And the last part of that book that I wanted to write was, for good or bad, we do migrate to like mind and do things in pack. We're not as open-minded as we like to think we are. Okay, and it's not. Or I would say that we are open-minded. All of us have a limited amount of time to interact with others, and we choose to interact with people that we get along with, that we share something in common. It's a bond, a human bond that we all enjoy. That's life. So it's not. It's hard to. I hope it makes sense. It's hard to explain that we are not open-minded. It's just that we just don't have the time to be all for all. One of my favorite motto in life that I repeat often to a lot of people is, it is impossible to be loved, liked, and respected by all. Impossible. Okay, so I advise many of my friends, don't try to be a perfect human being that be liked by everybody. Okay, because a lot of people are struck by that need to be liked. Sure, we all like that, right? But it's okay to have people that don't agree with you. It's okay to have people that don't like you for whatever reason. Okay, that's one of those human flaws things that we can't explain. So it is what it is, and at the end of the day, tolerance is is something that, you know, a lot of us don't have or lack. Uh, I'm sure my wife can be the first to admit that I have low tolerance for a lot of things. Surprisingly, I have a lot of tolerance for other things, but there are a few things in life that I have extremely low tolerance for. Um, and YouTube, you know, in many ways, understand the word community that are thrown around all the time. At the same time, I have talked about this before in other videos that the a community anywhere, whether it's on YouTube, on Facebook, or in real life, of does mirror what we have in our community. Okay, the bottom line is, no matter where I live, there are plenty of people that don't know me. There's plenty of people that make no effort to get to know me, and that's both ways. Okay, I don't have time to know everybody in my community. There are lots of people I don't like in my community, so I choose to be friends with people that I like or have things in common in my community, in my real community, and that's go the same with whether it's Facebook or YouTube. Okay, it's a community, but it's not a community of all like-minded people. The only thing that we have in common, as I said many times, the only thing that we have in common here is the word comic book. That's it. Other than that, there are a vast range of preferences as far as what we like, what we dislike, what we enjoy to read, what we like to collect. It's vast. It's different. Okay, and so it's no one shoes that will fit all for everyone that is in this community. And you know, it's probably always best served to have tolerance for differences, as in anything, in the especially in the real community, right? You know, I used this example before. You know, it's easy on YouTube to dislike somebody and give them a thumbs down, even though you have a lot of time. I suspect that a lot of people that put a thumbs down on a video spent very little time watching the video. I could be wrong, but a lot of people, I think, don't A, didn't watch the whole video, B, don't know the person that made the video to understand their views on many things, but A, you know, if they hear a 5-second snippet or something they don't like, boom, thumbs down, done. In real life, do you behave that way? I certainly don't go knock on my neighbor's door next door and say, "You suck because when you barbecue, does your smoke blow over to my house and I don't like the smell of it." It's 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 absolutely silly and stupid. Okay, but YouTube is the way it is. Okay, people have the freedom to voice their opinion, put their thumbs down. Um, uh, I can say, as far as the big brouhaha that we had the last couple of days, certainly, you know, Don, I don't know him at all. Okay, I don't think Don ever commented on any of my videos. I think he subbed to me, but he certainly, I don't think he watched many of my videos or any. Um, Certainly, it's a regretful behaviors. I'm sure he's not in the heat of the moment. Okay, lashing out may be the thing to do at the moment, but I think most of us, after we do something like that and we sit back and reflect on it, at the least we feel foolish. Um, you know, and whatever going forward with Don, it's up to him. You know, he can. He's entitled to feel whatever he's entitled to feel. Uh, but it's never a good thing to lash out at anybody. I can tell you, in my younger days, in my 20s, I was very vocal and combative. Okay, very, almost to the point of extreme. For those that know me for the past 20, 30 years, I have had many, 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 many Asian friends over the past 20, 30 years that told me, Nick, you are unlike a lot of Asian we know. You're very vocal, um, and combative. And, it's a big part of it is because of the environment that I worked in. Um, I worked in high finance in a world where, um, you know, I am the only Asian. Often wherever I go, uh, I'm am the only minority in the room, and that even go back to high school and college. I can tell you when I was in high school, my high school after I moved from Albany, New York, my last three years of high school was in upstate New York, and there was a huge school system with 3,000 kids. Okay, can you imagine 3,000 students in high school? Humongous school. I was the only Asian. There was one African American and one Asian in that school system. Okay, so trust me, it was not an easy time for me. And then when I went to college, once again, I went to a small school in upstate New York, Plattsburgh. There was 4,000 students in that school, which is a pretty small college. There was about a dozen black African American students. Guess what? Most of them are in the school uh, basketball team. And there was three Asian, three, two male and one female. And trust me, I don't need to tell you about the racism that and the discrimination I felt through high school, even before high school, all the way through college. There was many occasions in college where people would tell me, "Oh, Nick, there's the Asian girl. You should date her." Really? Because I'm Asian, and that's the only Asian girl on campus, I should date her? Because trust me, it's just there was so much nonsense that I went through in life, and so from that point, and then go through my professional career, it's just my personality to be very confident in what I do. So I stood up for myself. I was very vocal in defending myself. And so unlike a lot of Asian friends I have that tend to be more quiet, uh, I have no problem speaking my mind to my bosses over the years. Um, and so I understand uh, the behaviors of, at least for me, when in my younger days when I felt someone is attacking me and I'm lash back to defend myself. I did a fair dose of that, and even when I'm in the right, okay, even when I am in the right, and often I felt that I was in the right, it was I always reflect later, regretfully, that I wish I handled it differently. I wish I handled it more diplomatically, um, but I didn't. I was a hothead. I was a big time hothead with a big mouth. If you go back to any of my bosses over the 15 years plus that I worked for high finance corporate America, most of my boss will tell you Nick was the best worker and the worst worker. Because Nick is smart, Nick is great, Nick is so helpful, Nick is all the positive word that you can throw in there, Nick is. But at the same time, they would say that Nick is a pain in the ass. Because Nick has no filter in telling anyone that they are stupid or what they do is a waste of time. Because I was a kind of worker where, if I handed a job, I would do a great job, but at the same time, I will question why I am doing it and figure out a way to do it better. And but that's me. I fix a lot of things. I create a lot of things for people. And whenever my boss told me to do something that I deem dumb or stupid or a waste of my time, I have no problem to tell him what I think. So yes, having a filter is a necessity to get along with other people, and it's a shame. I think so back to the community. The YouTube community is very fragmented in that there are a lot of different groups of people that like many different things. Okay, by fragmented, that's what I meant. It's not that we are a lot of groups fighting with each other. Not that fragmented. It's fragmented in that it's very spread out in diversity. And I can say that perhaps one of the YouTubers that I have a lot of, I'm not sure what the right word is, admiration, but I appreciate this person, Damien. Sleepy Reader, okay? He was probably one of the very early subscribers to me. And Sleepy Reader has his posts on many things, okay? He's one of the very few YouTubers that are extremely active in the modern reading new books subs community. Extremely active. And he's also active in many areas of the community. He watched many other videos, from hauls to reviews to me talking about history to people showing artists and stuff like that. And I can tell you, I'm guessing the bulk of the people that is in the newer books that he's close friend with are not my subscriber. I certainly don't see any or many of those people in his circle subscribe to me or watch my videos or care to watch my video because they are not interested in my topic, and that's fine. It's okay. Trust me. I'm not complaining that I don't have enough subs. It's not that at all. But it's I don't know that many that are like Damien. So I appreciate Damien because at the end of the day, it takes time and effort to interact with many people. Okay, I do the best I can to interact with the people that watch my channel to give back to the community. But at the end of the day, I don't buy new books. So I don't have much to add to that community. And, I don't feel slighted that the majority of the people that collect, have fun, and excited about the new books don't care what is coming from this channel. Not at all. It's we all have our preferences, and it is okay for somebody not to sub to me. I mean, over the 2+ years that I joined this community, I can tell you the bulk of the people that has been here before me, do not subscribe to me. Certainly, I don't know if they even care to watch my stuff, and that's okay. It's the people that subscribe to me tend to be the people that join the community about the same time, and that has happened. I think over the from what I can tell, seem like the younger, newer people that join the community gravitate to people in the same kind of level, for the lack of a better words, and that's okay. You can build friendship that way, and over time you gravitate to people that share, well, like-minded people. And I made a comment with um, Kenneth Brown about views and uh, subscriber, and I told him, it's about building friendship with people, and you do not expect a quid pro quo. By that I mean, you know I don't expect people to sub to me if I sub to them. I don't expect people to watch my video if I watch a video of theirs and leave a comment. It's not. I think if you go into this with that kind of expectation, you're more than likely to be disappointed. Okay, it's that's how I think life is in general. You got to go into it with open mind, with no expectation. That's how I went into this whole thing. You know, um, it's I can go on and on forever. So it's already been 27 minutes, way too long. Anyhow, it's to wrap it up. Ultimately, because comic books are very addictive, and all of us are very passionate about what we do, what we love. And I can't stress enough that it all comes down to tolerance and accepting other people's differences, because at the end of the day, like a real community, like your real neighborhood, you don't agree with many people in your community, uh, and but you learn to live in the community and survive and thrive and do whatever. You don't pick up you don't leave your community because some people pisses you off. uh, that's not the way we behave in real life, and certainly not the way we should have to live online. I think it's unfortunate. um, but before I go, I do want to talk about the mob mentality. The last part of my men are not from Mars and women are not from Venus. We're all freaking cave. The mob mentality has been around since the day of the cave, okay? And that hasn't changed. Uh, I understand the need for many to speak up to defend your friends. Certainly, that's appreciated by the friend, but it can easily escalate into a frenzy mob, right? I can tell you this quick short story. I promise to make it short, but what the heck? If you make it this long, why not? I am a big fan of movies. Okay, so one of my favorite channel that I watch forever, long before I jump into the YouTube community, is AMC Movie Talk. It used to be AMC Movie Talk and then AMC something else, but it's a channel run by people that work for AMC, talking about movies, reviews, and casting, and the latest movie news. I love that channel. I watched it daily and commented on that many, many times. Last year, there was a video that for the first time I left a criticism. Okay, usually I just leave a comment about what I like about a movie. I agree with their decision, or I disagree with their opinion. But last year on one of the video, I left a criticism that's basically I said, I'm shocked that you spent this much time on this topic. Let's move along. I think verbatim that's what I said. And the host of AMC felt a need to reply to me that he basically went on a rant on me because he's like, shocked? You use the word shock? Shocking is what people are still starving in Africa. This is not shocking. As I mentioned before, hypocrisy. Okay, if you watch AMC, they talk many times about how movies are meant to shock and make us feel something. Trust me. So it was a whole lot of. But so he replies to me was, shocking is a word that should be used for starving children in Africa. This is not shocking. B, it's my channel. I can talk about whatever I want. Talk radio can spend hours on any topic. So, 20 minutes, 10 minutes here and there on this topic is not shocking too long. And if I don't like it, buzz off. Don't click it off. Don't bother watching the show. Blah. He went. Okay, and if you know AMC channel, they have thousands of viewers. And I can tell you, I had the worst pile on by his fans. I think for the next 2 days, I have had so much. That post created so much hate my way that is unbelievable. Okay, unbelievable. The avalanche of people that tell me to shut the F up. If you don't like what you're seeing, shut the F up. Trust me, it's just the same thing over and over and over. And there was 3 or 4 people that actually chime in politely and said, isn't this rich? You are telling him to not voice his opinion. You are telling him to stop complaining, but you are complaining about him for complaining. Oh, and then some people defended me that it's a valid post. It's not the sad thing is the host of AMC tend to only reply when he feel he's being criticized or being attacked, and that's small. It's small. And like I said, a small handful of people did come to my defense and said that it's silly to get mad at this guy for voicing his opinion. It was not a mean-spirited opinion. It was not something so bad that he deserved this kind of pile-on. But yes, I did get pile-on for a couple of days, and I still watch the show because I enjoy the opinions of other people. It certainly make me feel. It certainly changed my opinion of the host of AMC because hey, if you put yourself out there in public and you can't take any kind of criticism, then if all of us in this community behave that way, I think it would be just one mess. Okay, YouTube would have been nothing but a total war because everybody would be just making hateful videos on everybody else. Trust me, it would turn into that if all of us behave that way. If all of us behave with the kind of knee-jerk, the moment that someone disagree with us, say something that we don't like, or criticize us, and feel a need to snap back, this would be actually YouTube might even be more popular because you know how everyone loved to watch